Hey Zandra, it's your Master Gardening classmate here, Rick Williams. I got your last email and encouraged us to make our own video. So I thought I'd talk about my front yard a little bit. Just starting at the front curb, there's a couple of ugly boxes. I guess those are cable or telephone. Every year I plant something right in front of them. This year it's a couple of lantanas, not getting quite as big as I thought they would be. Sometimes I put some purple fountain grass in there, but I always try to cover that up. But this is the part of the yard that gets the west sun. Then you got my mailbox, which I made myself with some used bricks. I put a little planter in the back. You can see it there. Obviously I have some cannas there. Over the years I've tried a variety of plants. Cannas have worked out pretty good. I'm not a canna fan. Putting them into a garden, you typically get a lot of invasion with underground tubers and all. But these little dwarf red ones have worked out pretty well. Little trick I've learned about that, I heard over the years that if your stalk quits blooming, just cut it halfway back. But I've learned just to cut those down all the way to the ground, and then you'll get a new shoot with new flowers, and these things will bloom all summer. All right, swinging around to my front entrance garage. There's my car. We painted our house, by the way, a light gray, white trim with black shutters and black doors about 4 years ago, which we've liked. On either side of the garage, which is front entrance, I have these. These are upright elephant ears. There's two kind of elephant ears, basically. There's the ones that kind of flop over and look like caladiums, which are called colocasia. These are the ones that stand straight up for alocasia, and they come back every year. These will eventually be taller than me. Right now they're only about 3 feet, but they seem to take the sun. In the wintertime I do throw a bag of leaves over them just to give them a little protection from the cold winter. In the corner of the sidewalk there is one of my favorite perennials of all time. This is a pincushion plant, or sometimes called a scabiosa. This thing blooms and blooms and blooms all summer. Even in January, February, December, you'll see a couple of blooms on this thing, but an absolutely faithful flowering perennial. Leading up to the front door, I have some hanging baskets. These are obviously red petunias. Petunias, you got to be careful. They don't take full sun, but right here under the house, they get morning sun, and then after that they're protected. They do pretty well. Coming along, got 3 pots with red caladiums coming out of them. I love caladiums. They come in red, pink, green, and white. It's one of the few things where you can get color even in the shade. Just some regular English ivy I've had in this bed for 40 years. Coming back a little bit further, here's a leatherleaf mahonia, little prickly. It likes 100% shade. So backing away from the front door there, we get to my front bed. These are my second favorite flower in the world. These are pentas. The reason I like pentas, one, they can take tons of heat, which is why I have them here in the front. And you can see the flower there. They come in pink and white and red, and I think sort of a purple too. Right now you can see the ground, but eventually, as in past years, once they get bigger, you'll see a solid sea of red, and you won't even be able to see the ground. A big believer in planting things that last a while. Pentas bloom all summers. You'll never see a tulip in my yard. I'm a tour guide at the Dallas Arboretum, and they plant 400,000 tulips every year, but the individual tulip lasts about 10 to 14 days. If I'm going to plant something, it's not going to be done in that short a time. Little white pot in front. It's got a little fern, a foxtail fern on top. Foxtail fern is not really a fern, it's an asparagus with some silver dragon liriape underneath it. These tall, goofy looking things, these are gladiolas. I won a drawing at the Arboretum last year and got a 6-pack of little gladiola bulbs, so I stuck them in the ground there. Gotten a couple of stalks of flowers, but they're one and done. definitely not a flower I'm going to keep here. I'm going to yank these out shortly. Now in front of the house, right in front of the main picture window, you can see me in the reflection taking this video. In the front is my favorite flower in the world. This is a Eupatorium, excuse me, this is a diamond frost. And diamond frost has these little jillions and jillions of little white flowers, and they will be there spring, summer, fall, no deadhead. Each plant gets to the size of about a basketball. The Arboretum has these as well. I tell people it's sort of the garden version of baby breath. You get baby breath in a vase and little white fluffy stuff. And what I should have done here is mix in these red vincas with the diamond frost, because that would give sort of the effect. Unfortunately, I planted the diamond frost first, couldn't decide what to put behind it, and ended up with your regular old periwinkles. And next year, if I do this, I mix those two together. Behind that are some Nandinas. This is a variety called Flirt. If you've been to the Arboretum near the Martin Rutschek concert stage, they have some of these, and they're very pretty. This is a dwarf. And then behind that, the fourth row, this is Black Diamond Crepe Myrtle. Black Diamond has a black leaf, and soon it'll have bright red flowers. As soon as the flower is done, I cut the limb back to keep it below the level of the window. And in the wintertime, I cut these completely to the ground, which is sort of what you're not supposed to do with crepe myrtles. But this is an attempt to make these Black Diamond Crepe Myrtles into a hedge as such. Moving on to the side over here, planted some yuccos on either side of the window a number of years ago. Not exactly consistent with the overall theme of the bed, but they're doing okay. Texture change. There's some caladiums. I had some left over from planting in the back. I planted some there and some on the other side. They may get cooked by the afternoon sun, but I had a spot, so I just made use of it. Here is a dwarf Podocarpus. Some people call this a Japanese yew. The yew is technically a Texas. Now I forget the species name. Anyway, this is dwarf, nice texture change with some more liriope along there. And then we head around the side of the house, and basically so shady in here, couldn't make grass grow. So in my yard, if grass doesn't grow, it becomes a caladium bed. So there's some more pretty caladiums with some mondo grass. On the other side, a few hostas, ferns, a little half whiskey barrel. Just a nice shady effect. So basically, I'm not a very good master gardener. I don't plant anything you eat, and most of my flowers are not necessarily xeriscape at all, but I do take a lot of time taking care of my yard. Had take all root rot on the lawn last year. If you use Scott's Disease X, they have a fungicide in there now that works better than even the 1 inch of Canadian sphagnum peat moss they've been recommending for a number of years. So anyway, that's just a quick little view of front yard and all my flowers, and nice neighbors walking by. How are y'all? So that's it for now, and you have a good day.